Can you imagine a world without sound? No music, no laughter, just silence. No, imagine creating a symphony from that silence. A symphony so powerful it echoes across the entire globe. This isn't just a story about music. It's a story about the unstoppable human spirit. Meet the deaf musician who, through sheer determination and groundbreaking methods, proved that true artistry knows no boundaries, inspiring millions to find their own voice. Does true art really need ears to be appreciated, or to be created? We're about to journey into the life of someone who answered that question in the most profound way possible. Let's rewind to the beginning. Imagine a child, vibrant and full of life, whose world is a tapestry of sounds. The melody of a parent's voice, the rhythm of rain against a window pane, the first notes learned on a piano. Music wasn't just a hobby. It was the language of their soul. One day, out of nowhere, the volume just started to fade away. At first, it was just a whisper, but then, suddenly, the whole world went quiet. The diagnosis was devastating. Profound, irreversible deafness. The vibrant tapestry of sound was replaced by a stark, silent canvas. The initial despair was immense. How could a musician exist in a world devoid of the very thing they lived for? It felt like a cruel joke, a dead end. The instruments gathered dust, and hope seemed like a distant, fading memory. For many, this would have been the end of the story. But for our protagonist, it was just the beginning of a different kind of composition. In the depths of that silence, a tiny spark flickered, hinting at hope. Could you imagine if sound couldn't be heard at all? Would we still feel it? This single question ignited a revolution. The journey began with unconventional, almost strange experiments. They would lie on the floor, cheek pressed against the wood of a grand piano, just to feel the vibrations of the notes ripple through their bones. They sawed the legs off their piano so the entire instrument would rest on the floor, maximizing the physical sensation of every chord. This was the first step in building a new way to experience music. It was about finding sensory substitutes. If the ears were closed, other senses had to open. Haptic feedback became a new form of hearing. They worked with engineers to create devices that could translate frequencies into vibrations felt on the skin. A metronome wasn't a clicking sound anymore. It was a rhythmic pulse against their wrist. Visual cues became paramount. They studied oscilloscopes, watching the waveforms of sounds dance across a screen, learning to associate the shape of a wave with the emotion of a note. This was a painstaking process of trial and error. There were countless moments of frustration, a feeling lost in this new sensory landscape. But with each small success, a new language was being formed. A language of touch and sight that could, somehow, describe the world of sound. With this new language, the act of composing transformed entirely. How do you write a masterpiece you can't hear? It started from a place of pure emotion and structure. Music, in its essence, is mathematical. Its patterns, frequencies, and relationships. Our composer visualized these patterns. They would map out the emotional arc of a piece, a journey from sorrow to triumph, and then assign specific vibrational qualities and visual structures to each section. They could feel the dissonance of two clashing notes through the chaotic vibrations they produced. They could feel the harmony of a perfect chord through a smooth, resonant hum that coursed through their body. This unique process gave birth to a completely original artistic signature. Because they weren't bound by traditional auditory rules, their music had a different texture, a different soul. Critics would later describe it as having an incredible depth and raw physical power. Their compositions weren't just heard, they were experienced. Listeners reported feeling the music in their chest, a visceral, emotional experience that went beyond simple listening. Of course, the music world was initially skeptical. A deaf composer, it sounded like a paradox, an impossibility. The first few performances were met with a mix of curiosity and disbelief. How could this be genuine? But then, the music would start. The sheer emotional force and intricate structure of the compositions were undeniable. All began to replace skepticism. Musicians and critics alike were stunned. They were witnessing something that defied everything they thought they knew about music and creativity. The silent world of the composer had given birth to a sound that was louder and more profound than anyone could have imagined. The story and the music soon began to create a ripple effect that spread far beyond the concert hall. It was a story that transcended language, culture, and geography. People from all over the world were captivated by this incredible tale of resilience. It wasn't just about the music anymore. It was about the powerful message behind it. This journey had a seismic impact on disability advocacy. For the deaf community, here was a figure on the world stage who wasn't defined by their deafness, but was empowered by it. Their success shattered long-held societal perceptions about what people with disabilities could achieve. It sent a clear message. A limitation in one area can lead to extraordinary strengths in others. They became a powerful symbol of pride and possibility, inspiring countless others to pursue their own passions, regardless of the obstacles. But the message resonated even more broadly. It became a universal story about overcoming the impossible. People from all walks of life, artists struggling with creative blocks, entrepreneurs facing failure, individuals battling personal demons, saw a reflection of their own struggles in this story. If a musician could compose symphonies without hearing, what seemingly impossible dream was actually within their own reach? The story became a global anthem for perseverance, a testament to the idea that our biggest limitations are often the ones we place on ourselves. It inspired millions to look at their own challenges, not as barriers, but as catalysts for innovation and growth. So, what is the enduring legacy of this silent symphony? The core lesson is a timeless one. The human spirit, when fueled by passion and creativity, can overcome any physical limitation. It proves that our essence, our ability to create and connect, is not confined to our five senses. The story challenges us to expand our definition of what's possible. The influence continues to shape our world today. In music, it has encouraged a new generation of artists to experiment with multisensory experiences. In technology, it has spurred innovation in haptic and assistive devices, opening up new worlds for people with disabilities. And in our broader culture, it continues to push for greater inclusion and a deeper appreciation for the diverse ways human beings can perceive and interact with the world. This incredible journey leaves us with a powerful call to action. Take a moment to think about your own life. What are the perceived limitations? The silent walls you've built around yourself? What is the unheard symphony lying dormant within you, waiting to be composed? The story of the deaf musician teaches us that sometimes the most beautiful art is born from the most profound silence. It's time to find your own rhythm, to feel your own music, and to let your voice, in whatever form it takes, be heard. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories that inspire.